Hello friends, I'm here today to teach you a little bit about how to use iMovie. The first thing is, you might already be familiar with iMovie, but I'm just going to show you a few tips and tricks for when we're putting our flipbook into our iMovie, and hopefully that'll help you. So just take a listen to this video, and it might tell you a few things that would be really cool, okay? First thing you need to do is, if you don't have iMovie, please download it onto your iPad. It should be in self-service, so go take a look in there if you don't have it on your iPad already. Once you have iMovie on your iPad, you can click this big plus button in the top left corner to start a new project. You can see some of my other projects from teaching in here, but I'm going to add a new movie, not a trailer, but a new movie. Then it's going to open up your photos. You might have to allow it first, so open it up and then find your pictures. I'm going to just use some pictures from a vacation. And so I'm just going to click a few of them, but you should have a bunch to pick from. And you can click multiple right away. And once you've chosen them all, you can click on the bottom here, Create Movie. It's going to take a moment to upload all of those pictures. Don't interrupt it, just let it do its thing. The more photos you have, the longer it will take, as you know. Alright, they're all uploaded and ready to go. So, what I'm noticing right away is, well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play through it and see what I don't like and what I can fix right away. Okay, so they're playing too long. I don't like how this one is like zooming in or moving. That one is too. And I don't like the transitions. Okay, so I have three things that I'm going to fix first. So I'm going to start with fixing how it's zooming into my pictures. I really don't like that. So in order to change that, I'm going to click on the picture like I have down here where there's a yellow box around it. And then I'm going to go up to the big picture on my screen, and I'm going to click off the pinch to position turns, and I'm going to instead click Ken Burns enabled. And that just means that it's not going to, you can readjust or zoom in if you need to also. That just means that as it moves through my picture, it's not going to move it at all. So I'm going to do that for this one too. Click off and click on Ken Burns enabled. And so now it's not going to move my picture at all. I'm just going to do that for all of them so that it's not moving, because a flipbook shouldn't really be moving. The movement comes from flipping the pages. Okay, now all my pictures are not like zooming in or anything goofy like that. Now I'm going to adjust for how long they play, because if you think how you flip through a flipbook, the pages really don't stay on there for very long. So I'm going to actually make this as small as it's going to allow it to be. And it says up here that that's 0.3 seconds underneath my iMovie title. So I'm going to make these all super small because I don't want them to play for very long. Unfortunately, iMovie only lets you, the smallest it will play is for 0.3 seconds. That will have to do. The last thing that I didn't like is my transitions. So in order to fix my transition so it doesn't fade into that next one, that next picture, is I need to click on it, and I'm going to click none, because you don't have a transition when you are changing it in a flipbook. So I'm going to click none. And if you can see while I'm clicking these none, no transitions, it's actually making them longer again, and I don't want that. So I'm going to go through and fix that. Alright, now I'm going to take a watch to my video and see if there's anything else I want to fix. Alright, that's looking pretty good, and it's flipping through the pictures pretty quickly. I think the first and the last pictures it stays on for a little bit longer, but that's okay. Awesome, so that's looking pretty good. A few other things that I wanted to tell you about. I'm not going to do them to mine, but if you click on the picture, you have a few different choices down here. You can click on the titles, and you can add some writing to the picture if you ever want to add writing for some reason. You can also add filters that change that picture. So that might be something you're interested in. I don't know. Similarly, up top, if you go to this little settings button, you can actually add a filter to the whole project. So if you want every single picture to have the same filter, you don't have to go through and do that to all of them. You can just click up here and do that to them once. Fading in and fading out from black is personally something I like to use because I think that it makes it look a lot nicer. It looks like a real movie if it's fading in from black. So yeah, a little bit something like that. And then, what else do I have here? The last thing that I really want to tell you about is why I chose to do this in iMovie, because this is a little bit different than a flipbook. One thing that you can't do when you're doing a flipbook is adding sound effects or things like that. So that was what I wanted to do, why I wanted to use iMovie. And how you can do that is if you go up to this plus sign in the top right corner. First of all, if you're missing a photo, that's where you go back into your pictures and add your photos. But to add some sound effects or music, if you go down to the bottom and switch this to audio, you'll get soundtracks, My Music, or sound effects. Stay away from My Music. It'll take you to the music app on your iPad. I don't think you have anything on there anyway, and even if you do, it usually isn't, it's protected from being used on iMovie. So just stay out of there. Soundtracks is really good though. It kind of just gives a background sound that you could add to your movie to create a little bit of a feeling. They're kind of organized by how they feel. So here's pop, playful, chill, sentimental, retro, holiday, a few other themes. There's a lot of them in here. You'll have to click on them to download them. But I have a few already downloaded, like Melt here. So maybe I like how this sounds. So I'm going to add this to my movie. And it adds it to the whole thing. And so it'll look like I can also click on this and I can make it, click on the volume and I can make it a little bit softer if I don't want it to be so loud. And you can also change how long you want it to play. Maybe I only want it to play up till this point, because we have 5 different parts of our flip books: the rising action, conflict, those things, and so there might be different feelings for it. Another thing is that you can add is sound effects. So maybe there's something that isn't really good that happens, and you kind of maybe want a booing crowd to be in there, so you can click that. I don't know. So I added that to my video, and if you can see, it actually, it keeps Melt in there while adding booing crowd, so it'll do both sounds at the same time. So maybe I just want booing crowd to be, ooh, it's very long. I'm going to go all the way to the end of it. And maybe I only want it to be like 3 frames long. So let's take a look at what that's going to sound like. I'm just going to turn this up just a hair. Something like that. It might take a little bit, or you might make a little bit more room in it for yours, but I think it's very cool that you can layer the different sounds in iMovie and add those sound effects. So that is pretty much everything I wanted to show you about iMovie. Once you are done, click the Done button, and you can rename it by clicking on the title. Once you've clicked your title, you can click this little square with an arrow here, and you can export your project, and it will show up, or you can save the video, and it will show up in your camera roll. And then please upload that to Canvas, because I'd love to see it. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm not an iMovie expert, so it might just be a good idea to look up the answer as well, or you might even know more than me. So, but I'm willing to help if you have any questions. So let me know, and good luck.